and then we'll go down to your units. So you can have a different rule for technically every unit if you want to. That would be a lot, but you could do that. Or you could have it for different like unit classes. So if you want one for your rentals versus your sites, that's not a problem. So I'm just going to start by going into site number 1, and you'll see across the top there is a tab here now that says cancellations. So when we click on that, this is where you're going to add your cancellation rules. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. So I'm going to start by doing add cancellation rule. And I'm just going to call this like maybe the general or basic cancellation policy. Here you can choose what types of reservations is applicable to. So if you did want different rules for standard versus ongoing reservations, by all means, you can do that. And then here too, you can make different rules based on either the length of stay in the reservation or how far in advance they're canceling. So you can stack the rules kind of like we do the deposits. So if you want to say, okay, if you cancel, a week in advance, this is the rule. But if you cancel less than a week, this is the rule. So you can set up different rules depending on when they're canceling using this days to arrival minimum and maximum set here. Now, for the cancellation, there's 2 ways to do it. When we do the add-on fee, you can either just do a cancellation fee that you've set up as an add-on at a $0 charge, and that will allow the system to calculate on a percentage or number of nights basis. If you have a flat cancellation fee, maybe it's like mine, for example, is $18, you can definitely just use that and then only have that $18 cancellation fee apply. So whichever way you think is going to work best for you, that's what you're going to choose. And I'll set up one of each so you can see what it looks like. So say, for example, I'm going to set up here my $18 cancellation fee. And then if we scroll down a little bit, we have our add refund rule here. Now, I'm assuming most people don't want to give the $3.50 or whatever you charge for your reservation fee, $3.50, $5, whatever it is. I'm assuming you never want that to be refundable. And we want to make sure our clerks don't make a mistake and accidentally refund it. So I'm going to add a refund rule, and I'm going to say that I'm going to refund 0% of my reservation fees. Now, for payment method, you can also customize how the refund is being done. So for example, if you only refund to check or if you only refund to reservation credit, you can force that method down here by choosing accordingly. If you leave it on original, it'll refund the same way it was paid. Depending on the user permissions, people can change this on a case-by-case basis. So if the default for you is like reservation credit, but you have someone that you just want to do it to a credit card for simplicity's sake, for that one specific case, you could override it. So this is just a general setting, but overrides are always available provided the user has the permissions to do so. But for mine, I'm going to do original, and I'm going to save that. Now, because I have an $18 cancellation fee, I'm going to add one more refund rule, and I'm going to say I will refund everything else aside from that $18 of the reservation unit charge. And we'll save that too. If you do have any like add-ons or lock fees, you can decide here if you want to refund or not refund those. If you're keeping part of it or none of it, you can set that up, especially in there as well. I think I have a security deposit in mind, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to refund all of that there too. So that's one example of what it would look like. So I'll just save this one here. Under options on the top right, just like all of the other unit settings, you can do import, export unit info. You can use your classes to select which classes are getting these rules, but for me, I'm just going to do all of it. And you can see that cancellation rules is an option to copy over. So you don't, please don't go in and do it one by one if you're using the same rules. So this might take a sec, but we'll copy all those over there. And then at least all my sites will be good to go. Perfect. So now let's go into, we'll do some of the back end stuff after. So let me just show you how the process will work now. So I made a reservation not long ago. Yeah, this one here, my dog. So let's say she's no longer coming. If we look at the charges tab here, you can see that she's paid $50 towards the full hookup site. She's paid a $3.50 reservation fee. And to cancel it, I'm just going to go to options here on the top, and I'll do cancel reservation. Now it's going to add the $18 cancellation fee. And if we scroll down to the bottom here, you can see it's refunding $32 and we're keeping $21.50. And on this little other charges section here, you can see I'm not refunding any of that reservation fee because I don't want to give that back to them. So as long as the numbers here look good, you can continue. But if for whatever reason you did have to edit it, you can override here. And this is where you can change the payment method if you wanted to. But in my case, it looks all good, so I'm just going to go cancel reservation. And that's going to cancel it out for me. You can see here it's added my $18. It's moved the money from the full hookup site to that $18 cancellation fee, so my accounting is going to look good. If I keep scrolling down, my $3.50 is still intact. It's also zeroed out the charge for me, so I don't have to worry about doing that and having anything outstanding or overdue. And it also creates an invoice for you. So it doesn't automatically email or print the invoice, but it is created. So I could just hit email from here, or if you want to see what it looks like, we can open it up here as well. So you can see our nice big canceled notification. You can see what's been refunded. Yeah, total refunded down here at the bottom. And that's always reprintable, which I also love. So that's what the process is going to look like now. I'm sure, as you can see, that is far easier than it was before. A couple things to note. I'm just going to go to settings here and add-ons. So regardless of how you set it up, and I'll go show you the other option too, but when you set up your cancellation fee, just make sure that the sales financial account, the GL code that you have linked to that add-on is where you want the revenue for the cancellation fee to go. If for whatever reason you have to charge tax on it, you can. I'm in Canada, so I guess I should have, but I didn't in this case. But just make sure that that GL code is linked accordingly so that it's going into the right place. Also, if we go under settings and down to users, if you click on your users here, you'll see that there are a couple different options now under reservation management. So like, for example, this one, you can allow them to cancel a reservation, but if this is unchecked, they won't be able to override any of the amounts or how it's being refunded. So it's going to force them to follow whatever rules you have set up, and there's nothing else they can do about it. So like if you have a clerk that you're like, nope, you're just going to do what's the setup and how it's supposed to go, then you can take this away. But then for anybody who you want to give a little bit more flexibility to, like an office manager or something like that, you can have that selected in case an override is necessary from time to time. So that's all set up in your user permissions as well. So I'm just going to go back to settings again and to units. And I'll go back into unit number 1 and to my cancellations. Now, let's say, for example, I want to say this is for anybody who's a week or more out. So now I'm going to set up another cancellation rule. And this will be less than a week. So I'll do 0 to, well, okay, I'll do 1. Because you could do a minimum of 0 as well if you want to do like a no-show kind of policy. So also an option. 6 days. Now in this case, I'm going to use my cancel fee here. So that's going to take whatever rule I have set up, put any money on that cancellation fee. And then I also want to zero out any reservation charges because I want to move all the money from the reservation unit that I'm keeping to the cancel fee. So we'll go again, I'm going to add another refund rule. And again, I'm going to refund absolutely none of the reservation fee. I don't want that. And just so you can see how it works, let's refund it to a reservation credit as well. Okay. And let's say I want to, let's say I only want to refund 25%. I'm going to keep 75% if they cancel under a week. So we'll do a reservation credit. We'll do the reservation unit there as well. Now, there is also advanced cancellation options down here where you can have it date driven. So if you do something like on a holiday weekend, there's no refund or a different refund amount for a holiday, you can put the dates in here too. So different rules for different times of year if that's something that you need. So I'm going to save this rule. And I'm just going to put that. I just like them in order. So this is 1 to 6. This is 7 above. Let me just throw a quick reservation in here. We'll do one. Oh, you know what? I have to go. I didn't copy my settings over. There we go. So we'll do that really quick. Only because I always go and choose the wrong site and then I can't remember which site I put it on initially. So this way I'm safe. We'll copy all those over. All right, this is the moment that takes a few moments to get that over, but much better than doing it one by one. So there we go. And let me just go back to my grid here, and I'm just going to throw a reservation on, let's do a couple of days from now. There we go. Okay, and we'll just make this up really quick. All right, and I'll put my dog in again. She stays a lot at my test park. Okay. I don't need my email, and we'll just put the credit card number in. And we'll create that reservation. Okay, so today's the 18th, and they're coming in June 20th. Now they've decided to cancel. So again, I'm going to do cancellation, and you can see it's just figuring it all out for me. So I'm only refunding 25%, so it did the math. You can see it's not refunding the $350, and down here you can see I'm giving $12.50 back, and I'm keeping $41. So it's doing all the math for me based on the percentage I chose, which is great. And then you can also see it's automatically refunding to a reservation credit because that's how I decided to set mine up, is that I only ever want it going into reservation credit. So you can see that's automatically chosen too, even though they originally paid with credit card. So I'm going to cancel this one. It'll do the same thing. And when we go to the charges tab here, you can see the reservation credit available. The invoice is generated. We can view and email that if we wish. And that's all good to go. It will be sending the your reservation canceled email automatically when you do a cancellation. So that's what this is. This is going to look like this. So you can see all that stuff in there. And there's the processing fee too, because that's generally not given back. If you do want to edit that cancellation template, it's under settings, email templates, and oh, I can never find it. It's in here. Reservation canceled, I think it says. This one here. Reservation canceled. So you could edit that if you wanted to, but that will send automatically when you cancel it. So that is the setup and the usage of the cancellation module that we're so excited about. But if anyone has any questions, you can unmute yourself or drop them in the chat, whatever works. I'm just gonna jump over to here just to see.
I was just gonna unmute. I don't see any typing at this point in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, okay, cool.
As your questions come up, even if they're not, gonna come up while we're on this call, just as you're thinking, and Connie and Priscilla, I do see you're typing. We also have our success email that is perfect to send your questions to. Once this feature is live and no longer in beta, you'll use that support request button in the bottom left corner of the Firefly screen. However, while we're still in beta, our success team is going to be your go-to because we're the ones that are kind of taking all the feedback, and then we also, I think, probably are working with this feature the most right now before our support team jumps in, and so we can help you out there. But we did have a question. Hi, Adrian. We don't use percentages, but keep days. How do I set that up?
So here, let me just, sorry, I should have pointed that out. So when you look at the cancellation rule, On the refund rules, you have a type is nights to keep. So if you wanted to keep like 2 nights, you could say 2 nights. Or 1 night or whatever, whatever number of nights you want to keep from it. And then just make sure the charge type is reservation unit, because I think for the most part, that's really what it's going to apply to more than anything. No problem.
And then another question, can there be different GL codes for the different site types? One setup of short term, one for long term, etc.
Yeah, so you could definitely can do that. Just make sure that you have different cancellation fees set up in your add-ons. So you could do like a short-term cancellation fee and a long-term cancellation fee. And then when you set up your cancellation rules, I'm just going to run back into here. Just make sure, like, say, for example, you're using ongoing or you're using the days in stay, just link the appropriate add-on to the appropriate rule. So like if this was like the long-term cancellation, for example, just make sure your add-on's the long-term cancellation fee. And then it'll all go into the bucket that you're deciding for it to go into.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian.
Mhm.
I don't see any other questions being typed out at this very moment, but we can wait a second too.
I think one thing too, I don't think I pointed out just while we're talking here, when you do cancel a reservation at the top, you can see it's going to send the payment receipt and generate the final invoice. For whatever reason, if you don't want that to happen, just like any other payment or screen, you can uncheck this. But again, generate final invoice doesn't mean it's going to send it to the customer. It's just going to create it, and then you can go to invoices and email it after. So just so that's very clear.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. I don't think there's any other questions coming through the chat. Um, So I think we might be good here. If for those who are on the call, if you want, we can hang out here for a few minutes if you're diving in now to the feature and getting things set up. If you're not, though, we also don't all just have to like stay and sit in silence. So that is up to you guys. If you guys want to like throw in the chat, would you like us to hang out for a few minutes? Or if you want to just schedule some one-on-one time later with us, just let us know. Either way, we're happy. We blocked this time off on our calendars, so we're happy to stay. Or we can sign off here. And I do see that there's typing, so we'll wait a minute.
Okay. Okay, awesome. And then just
Perfect.
just because again, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning, if for whatever reason like you're working on setting it up, in like if you want to do it on one unit before you copy it to everything to try it out, you can still cancel things the old way. So before you turn that loose on your clerks, just so you're aware, I would suggest trying it on like setting it up on one unit, trying it to make sure that it works. You can always go in and just go to options and cancel reservation without hitting cancel reservation to make sure that the amounts are coming up accordingly. If you want to test it first, and then once it's working the way you want it to, then you can let it loose for your clerks as well, if that's the way you want to do it. So just so everyone feels safe as they kind of go into this territory.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. If you need us, reach out. Happy to help however we can. We can hop on one-on-one calls. I think you all have a calendar link in that initial email with beta and all the resources, and then reaching out to success@fireflyreservations.com. We can help you however you guys need. So if you want to get it set up and then let us know, like, hey, is this correct? Or hey, this was weird, or I didn't like this part, all the feedback we'd love. So it's just going to help make the cancellation process even better in the future. So we really appreciate that. And Adrian, thanks for doing this training again. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
All right, thanks. You too.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.